Welcome back to CBB2, and things are hanging in the balance. Yes, well, we're testing the side stand to start with, which is an awful palaver to go to just to test the side stand. And believe it or not, it's kind of on the side stand. It still looks a little bit upright for my liking, so we need a shorter one than that. I don't think they make them any shorter than that. Now what we're really doing is taking off that front wheel, like I said I would, which is amazingly hard work actually. It doesn't seem to get any easier the more I crank on that, which is a bit disappointing. So yeah, we're going to lift it up in the air a little bit more. I had to take this bolt all the way out. I'm pretty sure it's not what should be there, and you can tell by the mess of it, it's created its own threads. They've used the wrong pitch, which means that's probably screwed in there, which is a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, hopefully this will come out a little bit easier now. Yep, that worked. A little gentle persuasion from our friend Mr. Mole, opposed to my friend Mr. Molesworth. Right, now it's just a question of finding all the spacers and bits and pieces that fell off and trying to put them back on the totem pole in the appropriate order, of course. Seems there's just the two, one spacer on the right hand side and then the speedo doofer on the other side, which I don't know, can we just replace that with a spacer? It would be nice if we could. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get back to that later. So, one nasty front wheel, and starting to find some hodgepodgery having gone on. Talking of which, I'm still not sure about those forks. They've extended themselves again, obviously, now. Yeah. I think we need to put something in there to counterbalance what the air was doing. I'll have to have another word. I knew it didn't feel right. Right, next up, let's get the rotors off, the discs. Who wants to bet whether these are going to be easy or not? Yes, let's spin the wheel of fortune. Despite what they look like, they came off quite easily, but another new one on me. So there's the studs, which actually aren't studs. They're bolts that go all the way through to the other side. So yeah, so you have to hold that while you're cranking the other side. Anyway, that should come off now. Yeah. Well, live and learn. Yeah, so those bolts are in a pretty horrible state. I think I'm just going to clean those up. These I'm going to throw away because, as you know, we got lots of them. Oh, I just got a whole pot of nice stainless steel nuts. So they can go in the bin. So as far as the discs go, I've been looking online for some new ones. The trouble with discs is they're bloody expensive. And actually the scoring on these is kind of not as bad as it looks. So I may well keep them and reuse them. And I might, well, it depends. If I do this kind of one spoke orange thing, then I might reflect that in here. But actually, you know, again, the paint on these, or the powder coating, is actually good. Just needs a bit of a clean up. So they're okay as far as I'm concerned. Interesting venting disc, i.e. outside of the actual where the brake pad goes, which probably stops in that nasty vibration that one might have experienced with slotted discs in the past. I certainly have, on a set of aftermarket slotted drilled Rotors that I bought for my Corvette. Yeah, smuggled them in from Canada, I think. By the state of those bolts and the state of this wheel, I think he'd been doing some off-roading in this. He had like 3 dirt bikes in the garage, and he said this was a bit of a change for him. So yeah, maybe he's been off-roading this. Not a good idea. So I've got one hell of a cleaning up job before we start doing anything exciting. Well, I thought I'd steam straight in there with some fairly rough sandpaper, seeing as it needs to be kind of keyed up to accept the paint. And yes, my worst suspicions. If anyone with a keener eye noticing that the back wheel has a silver edge to it, and this one didn't, and this one's in horrible condition all round compared to the back wheel. So someone, probably the kid, painted this with that horrible plastic dip type stuff, which I have had nothing but bad experience with. So I would not recommend that paint unless you're just farting around on little details. But yeah, so this whole wheel is going to have to take all that off. That's going to take me a month of Sundays. Horrible, horrible person. Why did you do that? Well, having sanded that side down, which was arduous, I have to say, I'm considering, because on the other side I just scrubbed it down and hosed it off, which would obviously still need a little bit of prep for paint. But what I'm considering is that to mask off the silver would be considerably more difficult than just masking off the tyre, as we've done very successfully in other projects, the other Honda, in fact. This boy here, yeah. So yeah, I'm just pondering at this point. I do think it would be better if it matched up the back wheel. And the more I think about it, the more I think that's the way we're going to have to go. I'm going to do a little experiment in Photoshop with my orange streak situation. We're going to have to sand down all of these edges anyway. Well, we don't have to, but I want to. Again, to match up with the back wheel. So I think we can kind of mask it off sufficiently well so that we just have to tidy up the edges with a bit of sandpaper after we finish painting. I think that's the route I'm going to have to go on this. I think I want it to match the back wheel, which unfortunately means I have to do this side as well. Another half an hour of my life down the tube. More power to your elbow. Still going to have to finish it off by hand because it's a little bit rough. But I did that for another reason, because I wanted to see if it would work here. And it turns out it does. It's a little tricky. You have to be really kind of careful with it to make sure that you don't slip and sand something you don't want to. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, they came up quite nice. Again, needs a little bit of finishing in little places, but the overall, a lot quicker. Masking the wheel up with some plastic bags and spraying it, yeah. I did the black first because I couldn't find any orange that I liked. I want that orange. I want Chevrolet orange. Or something even brighter, and it was all kind of not very bright. Anyway, that looks a lot better and ready for its orange spoke, I think. Yeah. Clean those bolts up a little bit. I think they're going to need some more cleaning though. It's pretty stroppy, that rust. Maybe I should get some new ones. And while we're on the subject of painting stuff, I've come up with a different idea for the tank. Yeah, so I'm thinking this orange and this black. That's what I'm thinking. Just got to find some Chevy orange paint. I mean, how can it be in the United States of America? Come on. Yeah, it's okay. I located some. It will be coming soon. And here it is, unmasked. Not a bad job all round. And I've decided I'm going to do the spoke nearest the tyre valve, orange, to aid the rider to find the tyre valve. Well, I've got thus far with the masking for the orange spoke, and kind of realising it would have been easier to spray everything orange to start with, or not all of it, but you know, and then mask off the bit that I didn't want to paint black. Yeah, okay. Don't worry, we'll work it out. We're going to have to, because we're going to have to do the same thing on the rear wheel if we're going to match them up. think we should. Yeah, it's not pretty, but I think I got it. We'll find out. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of primer actually to give the orange half a chance. Of course, if this doesn't work out, it's not a big problem because I'll just spray it black again, right? Stop being such a clever dick. Here we go, primed and ready. Oh, I think we'll finish the wheel off next time around. And we'll test out that paint job idea I had on this too, I think. And maybe have a look at test fitting the seat. So sorry to leave you hanging in the balance, as is the bike, but thanks as always for tuning in, and do tune in again next time. See progress. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe down here somewhere, and of course encourage others to watch my lunacy.